Overall, abortions have been declining in the United States, which is incredible. Our efforts are having an effect and our prayers are working. Now it is my pleasure to call on Mrs. Karol Meynard, the Director of the Office of Pro-Life Apostolate here in the Diocese of Lafayette. It is through the efforts of everyone in her office that the pro-life message is spread to those in our local community.
Well, hello, pro-lifers! After 44 years, pro-lifers have been dreaming of an abortion-free America. And today, your presence here at the Teurlings Rally for Life is a witness that America is still one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all, born and unborn. You know, as pro-lifers, we proclaim that civil rights begins in the womb. Abortion is America's ultimate civil rights issue of the century. Abortion is the worst kind of child abuse for our time. It's fatal for the child and leaves a hole in the soul of the mother that only God can heal. Abortion triggers a series of rippling physical, emotional, spiritual effects that extend far beyond the actual procedure and changes not only the mother, but all those associated with the abortion decision. Abortion doesn't make you unpregnant. It makes you the mother or the father of a dead baby. The adverse effects of abortion can include depression, regret, anxiety, anger, suicide, addictions, and difficulties in marriages and dysfunction in family relationships. But stronger than the shockwaves of abortion is the hope in God's merciful forgiveness and healing offered through post-abortion healing ministries like Project Rachel and Rachel Vineyard Retreats. I believe the pro-life movement is on the cusp of a historic victory for the unborn children. As we look ahead to a new Congress and a new pro-life administration, we hope to see action on a number of pro-life priorities. For example, just last week, the United States Senate took the first step in paving the way for a vote to defund Planned Parenthood Abortion Corporation. Yeah, you can say that's a good thing. This budget resolution bill is the first step in the process to redirect Planned Parenthood's taxpayer funding to legitimate community health care centers that provide comprehensive health care for women. And now, after a year of painstaking work, the investigative committees in both the House and the Senate have issued final reports on Planned Parenthood's lawlessness and referred them and their business partners to the FBI, the Department of Justice, and numerous state and local law enforcement agencies for the criminal prosecution for the selling of aborted baby body parts for profit. Yeah, you can applaud that. Listen to this good news. Planned Parenthood dropped its lawsuit against the Center for Medical Progress and David DeLayton, who courageously went undercover to make numerous videos of Planned Parenthood's selling of abortion baby body parts for profit. We believe the good news is that the tide is slowly turning toward the culture of life. Innovative strategies across the nation, such as 40 Days for Life and Operation Rescue, are exposing the shockwaves of abortion, resulting in the closing of numerous abortion clinics and saving lives through prayer and fasting all across this nation. The pro-life movement has made huge strides since that dark day in 1973 because of people like you, people who are young, energetic, as Miss Anna said, prayerful, and determined to end the grave injustice of abortion. Americans United for Life, you heard about the statistics from the Guttemacher Institute, but now let's look at the Americans for Life annual 2016 report about the most pro-life and the most pro-abortion states when it comes to passing pro-life legislation that protects women and unborn children. And Louisiana came in third, which is a good list to be on. Oklahoma retained the number 1 position, and Kansas remained at number 2. And for the 8th year in a row, Washington was the state where women have the fewest pro-life legal protections, followed by California and Oregon. It's no wonder that Washington, California, and Oregon also have legalized euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide at the end of life. As Catholic Christians, we are called to pray for our leaders and for the healing in our land. While the November election diagnosed the heart condition of our nation, we Catholic Christians look to the Lord alone for our salvation. There's never been a greater need for believers to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ to a culture that is turning its back on the truth of God's word. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." Repeat that after me. My people perish for lack of knowledge. You and I recognize that our reliance is on the Lord, who has given us, for such a time as this, St. John Paul II's theology of the body as the antidote to the culture of death and the means to change the hardness of hearts. We have to not only know theology of the body, we have to live it and know a personal encounter with Jesus in all aspects of our lives. You know, St. Francis of Assisi said, "Preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words." Well, Ben Clapper with Louisiana Right to Life says, we can all agree at this time it is necessary to use words. And one way for you, how many of you are high school juniors and seniors? Raise your hands. Okay. One way for you to use words is by participating in our pro-life oratory contest sponsored by our Office of Pro-Life Apostolate for the Diocese of Lafayette. It's going to be on February the 23rd at 6 p.m. at Immaculata Center. You can choose one of 4 topics to speak out about: the tragedy of abortion, the tragedy of euthanasia, or the tragedy of infanticide, or the tragedy of embryonic stem cell research. I brought some registration entry forms, and I gave them to Miss Josette. So if you're interested, you can see her about that. Let's continue to defend the sanctity of life until America is truly abortion-free and all human life is protected under law. So now repeat after me. Pro-life nation.
Pro-life nation.
Save our babies.
Save our babies.
It can be done. It will be done. I am the pro-life generation. I am the death row survivor. I am a child of God. I am a prayer warrior for life. And make no mistake about that. Don't change. Don't change. So often we hear in our pro-life in our post-abortion healing ministries. You know, when I was in high school, I belonged to the campus ministry. I was so active. I belonged to the pro-life group, you know, and my parents were so pro-life. And then once I left high school, I kind of left my values there and ended up in a crisis pregnancy. And I was so afraid to tell my parents because I didn't want to disappoint them because they were so pro-life. Never be afraid to go to a friend, a teacher, and your parents. Your parents love you, and love is stronger than death. God reward you for your energy, your courage to fight this great battle for the dignity of human life. God bless you, and God bless America.